digestion to function well. We need the immunity to function well. It's just not about the weight and the height or how a child looks. It's how internally a child is made up of. That is what food is doing to our body. Okay. Now, however, this is also a time when between 3 to 10 years, you will see a little overweight children and you will see a little underweight children. Okay. Now, when we see overweight children, we also cannot be blaming the child. Until and unless, of course, it's a medical condition or it's a form one of a case, it's a different thing. But on a general basis, we have to look at the parents' choices. We have to see what the parents have been eating. We have to see what the parents have been allowing a child to eat. Like for sometimes, what happens is we as parents, because the child is fussy, the child doesn't want to eat, let's say rice and dal, we say, okay, have a plate of pizza. Okay, have a plate of French fries, just because the child is going to like it. Any processed or junk food child is going to like, because that's made in such a way that the child, that it will adhere to the child's responses. But did we make the right choice then? Did we not put in the enough kind of time that we should be explaining to them that no, the French fries are fried, we cannot be having this because it's only potato. Where are your proteins? Where are your curd? Where is your probiotics? I mean, of course, you may not want to say curd, probiotics and all of that, but in simple words, explain to them how will your bones develop? How will you feel okay? How will you function the next day? Okay, so it's very important today, whenever we see an overweight child, we don't really blame the child. We always look at the parents, that why did the parents allow the child to do this? Again, 3 to 10 years, as much as it's a cemented age, it's also a age of vulnerability. So if you catch it at this point of time, they are still going to grow in the right way. But if you don't catch it, then it's going to be very difficult. However, on the other hand, if we have picky eaters, now picky eaters are those people like they don't eat many things, but what they like, okay? Again, it's not about the weight. They can be the normal weight, they can be a little lesser than the weight, but if they are active, if they don't fall ill, if they can be very energetic, they are getting their sleep throughout in the night, they are waking up with a fresh, happy mind, they're dealing with emotional trauma and stress is great, we don't have to be worried. Okay, but what we generally have to look over here is what are the child's food choices. Okay, it's not that we will never make an effort. Today my child doesn't like a fruit. Okay, there are like 100 fruits. He may not like 10, but the 11th one I have to try. Okay, none of us come to a point that okay, this is my favorite and I'm going to create a fruit of my own. That's never going to happen. If a child doesn't like apple, we have to offer a papaya. If the child doesn't like a papaya, we have to offer a banana. If a child doesn't like a banana, we have to offer an orange. So we have to keep offering. Okay, in different food groups there are millions of choices that are there, and something or the other the child will like. So it's a little work for the parents, but that's what we are parents for, to set this standard. Okay, so from zero, right from their first 6 months to the 2 years, to the 5 years and 10 years is the time when we have got that energy and responsibility to set their eating patterns. Once this 10 years window crosses, it becomes very difficult, because that's the time when the child gets stimulated from the outside. But if the base is strong, the child will never get stimulated from the outside, because their digestive system will automatically not support any sort of junk food. Okay, so again, great time, 3 to 10 years, to set their system, to give them choices and vegetables, fruits that we know are healthy. Again, very important here, we should be focusing on is a lot of immune system, because the ability of them to fight a disease is important. We cannot be giving too much importance on their weight. Yes, we have to observe their habits, but weight is just an outcome of what they do. Okay, we need to encourage them to play outside. Okay, that is one of the other things. We cannot be only giving them screen time. Even if they are taking screen time, we need to limit it. And now at this age, between 3 to 10 years, what are the major food groups that we should be concentrating on is proteins, calcium, iron, vitamin D and omega-3. Okay, so when we talk about proteins, we talk about different sort of proteins. If you are a non-vegetarian, eggs, chicken, fish. If we are vegetarians, dals, pulses, curd, buttermilk, beans, all of that works very well. Vitamin D, sunshine. So as much we expose ourselves to the sunlight, it's going to be helpful for us. Calcium, we talk about ragi, sesame, dairy, all the sorts of foods and vegetables. Iron, green leafy vegetables, dry fruits, dates, raisins are great picks when it comes to iron, and omega-3. When we talk about omega-3, if you're a non-vegetarian, then of course the fatty fish. If not, then we can do flax seeds, we can do walnuts, we can do almonds. Okay, they are great. So now the problem is, how should they eat all of this, right? We'll understand that also a little later in this session, but first just let's understand that this is what we need. Now coming to the last part of their age, the main age, that is 10 to 19 years. They are no children by now, they are young adults. They exactly know what they want. They are going to set their own goals. They are not going to listen to you and me. Even at 11-year-old child will know, I want to look a certain way, I want to do a certain thing. And of course, but more than this, what is important for us as adults to understand is, we need to keep a check on what they are eating. Why? Because there's this growth spurt, there's maturation, and there's bone development. We all know, we all go through hormonal changes between 13 to 18 years of age, 13 to 19 years of age. So at this point of time, good nutrition is very important. Minimum exposure to packaged processed food items, just because the maturation and the growth is happening. We have to avoid food disorders. Creating a positive environment, creating a healthy relationship with the body is very important, because everybody is prone to looking thin at this point of time, and the boys are prone to looking muscular at this point of time. However, we need to understand we need to make them understand it's a process. Just the other day I had a case consultation where I was talking to a 13-year-old boy. The boy just came up to me and told me that, ma'am, I need a diet, but I'm very clear with my goals. I want to build my muscles. A 13-year-old boy is telling me, I want to build my muscles. I said, fair enough, we will see what your routine is all about, and I will, put it forward with your proteins and how, your routine should be apt to build those muscles. On further investigation and talking, he did tell me that I'm taking creatine. Okay, at 13-year-old. So now again, as a healthcare provider, my only option here was to let him know that it's okay to take creatine, but not at this age. Not at this age where so many things are going on already in your body. I would definitely, if I felt the need, if you've exhausted your protein sources, if you've exhausted your eating patterns and exercise pattern, I will tell you myself on, how to increase your muscle mass further and steady. But when you already climbed the first ladder, then can you think about the 10th ladder? So you can't be thinking about the 10th ladder when you're not on the first ladder itself. Okay, so it's very important to guide them at this time. They exactly know what they want, but we have to guide them. Again, more than that, it's very important for their bones. It's also very important not to have any gas issues, gastric issues, okay? Because when we eat food from the outside, they have a different sort of side effects. We have to maintain good mood and energy. And of course, more than how we look, what is our social circle, it's also important to understand what is our academic performance, right? So we cannot be putting studies in the back foot. So we need to eat the right kind of food so that our mind functions well. Again, here we want balanced diet. We want all the nutrients, right, from calcium, iron, vitamin A, vitamin C, and B12. But we also need our proteins, carbohydrates, fats, omega-3, exposure, variety of nutrients, because we don't want them to get deficient at any point of time. Okay, now this was a typical explanation on the age related nutrients that every child needs from 0 to 20 years of age. We'll now get into a little interactive part where we'll talk a little about the quiz. Please feel free to write your answers in the chat box. I will be putting up a question and you can answer them. Okay. First question. Children should be forced to finish everything on the plate. Do you think that it's a yes or a no for this? Should children be forced to finish everything on the plate? You can write your answers in the chat box. Are we one of those parents who forces the child that, okay, whatever is in your plate, you need to finish it? Or are we some of those people who say that, okay, eat how much you want, it's fine, there's not an issue? No, okay. One person says no, okay. What else? Does somebody feel that yes, we should be forcing them? And if you also feel no, then can you also give me a little reason that why do you feel no? Like, why do you feel that we shouldn't force them? Right, okay, like whatever thought process that we all are having, that we shouldn't force them what's on their plate, because we should respect that they understand their hunger pangs. They understand when they are full. They also understand that how much of the food that they should be eating. Does anybody want to elaborate a little bit on a yes or a no that they say? No, but I always expect them to. I think all of us expect our children to finish the food that we serve them with, because that's important for their health and growth. But however, we need to understand we cannot be forcing them to finish everything on the plate, right? We need to respect the choices. We need to understand that, okay, sometimes they are overfull and then it can lead to puking. But again, this is very situation to situation. Now, if the child has not eaten anything, some children need coaxing, right? They need that, okay, you have to finish, please finish, whatever is there. Again, it's all habit forming, right? If more than habit forming, also it's also what they observe around. If we are some people who have been taking food in the plate and finishing the plate, if they see a clean plate, they also clean their plate, they don't leave anything there. But if sometimes they see they are eating also something, we need to see how much they are eating, talk to them about their portions, and then give them a little more. Otherwise, sometimes we just add like 3 rotis, but the child is hungry only for a roti. So that doesn't mean we can put 3 rotis, right? So we need to ask them before we fill their plates. Okay. Now, do we really have to force our children to have milk? Do you think that's a yes, no, or sometimes? How do you think we should be giving them milk? Should we force them to drink milk? Should we not let them drink? Should we let them be like, okay, do whatever you want to do, choose for yourself? What do you think about milk? Should we force children to have milk? Sometimes, okay. A lot of you say yes, a lot of you say sometimes. Okay. Again, yes. See, again, we need to understand we should never force a child for anything that they are having or they are doing, right? Sometimes you as an individual may just not like milk, okay? Sometimes you as an individual may just love milk. Now, if it's coming from a point of like or a dislike, then we have to respect it. We cannot be forcing any food is not good. Absolutely correct. I think that sums up a lot of things that I would want to say. That forcing, it does not really help, right? Why are we forcing our child to have milk? Because we want them to get the calcium. Why are we forcing our child to have milk? Because we were forced as children to have milk. The reason has to be right. If the child is wanting to have milk but is being fussy and playful, then telling please finish your milk is okay. But if the child is not okay having milk, if the child feels very heavy and bloated having milk, if the child feels that no, milk is not making me feel okay, or if we were just forced as children to have milk, these are not reasons to force a child to have milk. At any point of time, be it any food or anything, we cannot be carrying it forward, because we need to understand our bodies, our children's bodies is different. Everybody is an individual and everybody's likes, dislikes is different. Yes, sometimes, we also go to an extent of putting the milk and the powders in milk, chocolates in milk, putting, certain things in milk. And then we're really diluting the whole effect of milk. Then it's better not to have milk at all. Okay? So, if we are giving something and if a child likes something, bank on that. Try not making it okay for their taste and putting, sugar or extra powders or extra chocolate or some syrups or anything, because then you're not helping them. We're just making things more difficult. Then even as they grow, it becomes very difficult for them to leave those things. So something which is unhealthy has to be cut from the bud. Okay, so we cannot be forcing anybody or even a child to have milk. Okay, what do you as parents or as concerned adults think whether fruit or fruit juices should be offered to a child? What is it that we should promote when it comes to child? Fruit juices, or are you the sort that none of it works? We don't want anything. What do you think? Is fruit juices important when it comes to child's diet? And if you think it is important, then what kind is important? Is it the fruit important, the fruit juice important, or do you feel that nothing is important? It's okay. Fruit, okay? Absolutely correct. I think a lot of us do understand this fact that fruits are way better than fruit juices, because of course fruit juices have a lot of sugar, they do not have the fiber, and they will rise your blood sugar levels up. And once a child is used to a particular type of food, it will continue for the rest of his life. Okay, but for a child to continue something for the rest of his life, we have to understand what are the choices that we make. Okay, if we are having a fruit juice and we'll tell the child you eat the fruit, that's not possible, right? That's not what the child is going to do, because what they see is what they do. So at any point of time, we also as concerned individuals should understand that what is important for our health, and that is fruit, not fruit juices. Okay, are we okay to give protein bars or granola bars to children? Do you think that the commercial protein bars, granola bars should be given to the child to eat? Should we? Like I do see I do come across a lot of parents that say that okay, they're not eating chips, so let's give them granola bar or something like that, because at least they have proteins. No, okay. So we need to understand, right? Anything that's commercial, anything that processed, that packaged will have hidden products, right? Until and unless it's a granola bar that we are making in the house, until and unless it's something like that okay, we know it contains seeds, we know contains nuts, we know contains some jaggery or some dates or anything, and not commercially prepared, so then it's fine. But otherwise, I think we shouldn't be giving any sort of packaged or processed food items to the child. And do the protein bars and the granola bars actually contain that amount of protein or granola? And what is from which base is the cereal of the granola coming from? What is it? Is it oats? Is it refined flour? What is it? Is the protein coming from soy, peas, milk, what? So the ingredients also really matter. So it is very important for us to understand that if we are making anything in the house with good quality ingredients and good sources, then it's absolutely okay. But otherwise, anything which is commercial shouldn't be provided to the child. And all these things are very important.